C64 presents a Playguide and video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hey there, welcome to another Lemon 64 Playguide and review. This time we'll be checking out A View to a Kill, developed by Softstone and published by Domark in 1985. You can see a very nice scrolling title as we see A View to a Kill, copyright Aeon Productions Limited, and 1985, so this was really rushed into production. And you can see special thanks to a lot of people, mainly Grand Larceny, who was the main coder of this game, and he went on to bigger and better things, including Savage in 1988, V in 1986, and his crowning glory SCI, Special Criminal Investigation for Ocean, in 1990. You can see among the credits Duran and John Barry are credited for the music, and speech synthesis David Aubrey-Jones. Now James, it's time to reset the machine and load the first mission, because yes, this is a multi-load game. In the first section, Mayday has jumped from the Eiffel Tower and is now parachuting down to her drop point. Follow her and get there first. Obviously avoid roadblocks and police. We can also choose between music and sound effects or both together, but because both together is pretty annoying, let's just go for the music. Pressing fire, let's check this game out. First scenario, we are driving our Renault around Paris, and we are driving around the Eiffel Tower at the moment, around all these one-way streets. You can see a parachute floating around, that's Mayday, slowly descending, spiralling her way around the Eiffel Tower, and we'll catch up with her a bit later on. Now let's just drive around Paris and show you a bit of the scenery, and we can perform strategic U-turns and great manoeuvres in the middle of that road, but unfortunately the driving on offer isn't the greatest, as you shall see. It reminds me of Give My Regards to Broad Street and let's just say Miami Vice. Unfortunately, well, fortunately for us, we don't blow up by hitting any of the scenery. So let's check out these bridges, and on the second one it shouldn't have a roadblock, and that should mean we can cross the Seine onto the other side. These maps are absolutely huge, and we won't need to get to the other side of the river, unfortunately. This huge colossal map is pretty much vacant, and we won't need to use any of it in this playthrough. But if you put your foot down, it can lead to a dead-end situation where your car will get damaged, and you will simply get written off and out of the game. Let's try that level again, and let's try this time to play a little more properly. Taking a look at the readout counter, you can see the yellow, green, blue and red bar is actually our speed limit, and speed which we are travelling, we're in the blue zone, which means we can jog along quite quickly around Paris. And believe me, if you've ever driven in Paris, this is very quick. On the top of the screen, we can see a meter, and that's 827 at the moment. That's actually Mayday's altitude, counting down in feet. And the top of the Eiffel Tower is around about 1,000 feet, and Mayday dropped off a gantry around 900 feet, and so that 900 will count down throughout this level. As you can see, if we are parallel or adjacent to the sides of buildings, or whatever they may be, we will not be able to turn our car, and so you have to drive down the very centre of that road, or you have to reverse and find a junction, otherwise we cannot turn. And if we ram into the sides, we can drive backwards, and it's just as easy to drive backwards in this game as forwards, and just as quickly as well. But just for this, I'm just showing you a bit more of the city. Again, none of this is used in the actual game, and it's a pity, but this is a nice tour anyway. Turning back now to the south side of the river, we'll eventually find the Eiffel Tower again, and we'll find Mayday still spiralling around it from the centre. On the Amstrad CPC version, you can follow Mayday very easily and find where she lands, but on the Commodore 64 version, there are maybe 7 or 8 different places where she can land, and it's impossible to follow her because she flies in a spiral, and there's no way you can chase around her in a spiral around this map, because if you crash, you'll just simply write the car off, and the car damage is written on the right hand side of that screen. I have no idea what the readout to the right of the steering wheel means, but of course we have a time limit, and that time ticks up, and at the right rendezvous point at the right time, Mayday will arrive, and if you are there you can capture her, and if you're not there at that rendezvous point, then you can't capture her. Look at that, a roadblock. Smash straight through that roadblock, and there's Mayday again, slowly weaving her way towards us. And what I'm actually doing is meandering around the usual drop-off point of the 7 or 8 in this game, which are marked by a metro tube station landmark, which looks suspiciously like the London Underground one. But if you manage to get there, which is directly to the east of the Eiffel Tower, at the rendezvous point, at the rendezvous time, and when she's at the right height, then it means we can arrest her. So we're virtually all the way back to the start of the game now, and to the east is the usual spot. And if she doesn't arrive there, or if you're already waiting there, she'll choose another one, and it gives you precious little time to move from one rendezvous spot to another. So if she doesn't land at this one, you better just switch off the game and try it again. You can see at the very top part of the screen, you can see a virtual 3D map of the city, but it doesn't show any cars or anything like that. It simply shows you a few brick walls. See Mayday again, slowly weaving her way around towards the rendezvous point. So the easiest way to find it is to find the second bridge across the Seine, just like this, and head south. And really, if you head south from here, it's a dead end, so you can't really go that wrong, unless of course you crash into that scenery. And that reminds me of the New York City game that we reviewed in Season 1. New York City is a fantastic game where you get to drive a car around the city, but if you crash into buildings, it does something very similar to this, and you take damage and you get towed away, and you have to break the car out of the tow place and pay the fine. Here we are, this is the usual rendezvous point, and you can see the sign, and on the other side of the map to the right, that's actually the other side of the map which is looped around, which is on the very far left. So if she doesn't land here and she lands on the very far left of the map, it's absolutely impossible to drive all the way over there in time and get to that spot. And if she doesn't arrive at this particular one to the east of the Eiffel Tower, and you can see she's making her way over here, then she'll move on to another one, and it's pretty difficult to track her down after that. In the top left corner there is a tracker, and that will track her if you select the music and the sound effects, or just the sound effects. But if you select just the music like this, then that tracker will not work. and when it gets down to maybe 200 feet or maybe 180 feet, just like this, she will land. But if you are on that spot just at the right point or just at the wrong moment, she will fly to another location, and that means I've blown it. I've blown the entire level, and that means what I'm going to have to do is load the entire thing up all over again. If you're not waiting for her, then she will land, and you can see she's now at 200 feet, well 190 feet up in the air, and you can't arrest her until she's down to her last 100 feet. And you can hear when we have the music and the sound effects, it plays havoc with both the music and the sound effects. We can also fire our gun, not that that does much, but we can fire a gun, much like Miami Vice. And so this is an impossible mission unless you know which one of the 7 or 8 stops that she will stop at, and that's basically trial and error, and that means you will have to play this for quite a few days until you work out which one it is. Luckily she is descending, and after this one hopefully she'll be at the right height, and then we can go in and grab Mayday before she causes any more havoc. If you remember, in the movie she crashes into a boat, but we're not crashing into any boats in this movie. And the altitude of the Eiffel Tower and the descent of Mayday is probably the first and the last thing that this game has actually got right and accurate to the movie. So here we go, let's grab Mayday, let's move on to the second section. After that, we will get a message from M from HQ. Well done, 007. Your code for the city is CCPHJ. Stop. Good luck. Stop. End of message. Stop. Stop reading this message. Stop. Switch off your computer and load level 2. Stop. So let's enter our code into level 2. Bond, says M. I hope you succeeded in capturing Mayday. I haven't heard from you in days. If you did, your code will be helpful, and if you didn't, you're pretty much stuck. Don't fail me this time, James. I'm in love with that girl. Q says, don't play around with your gadgets, get on with them, because some of them can be very dangerous indeed. In Mission 2, we find ourselves in City Hall, and in San Francisco it's burning down, and our job is to escape from City Hall before it burns down, and we can use a very convoluted inventory system where you can walk and follow guys. Not that that's any good, because there are no guys on the screen or on the level, and you can also search places and pick things up. That's a black key that we've just found. If we use that black key, hopefully that will unlock the door, and by searching in this room we can see a gun. We don't have to be next to the item in order to search it, but we have to click on the gun in order to pick it up, and that definitely is going to be useful for later on. Let's search every single room, and this reveals a yellow door pass. Again, it's very handy, and we can't get through into the next room from here. So let's walk back to the start again, and contains an elevator, but unfortunately we cannot use the elevator, or at least I haven't found a way to use the elevator. And so we can use the yellow pass on this door, hopefully. I'll open that, and the yellow pass into the yellow door will be very helpful in this case. Let's search that plant, and searching the plant reveals a green key. That's actually a green cabinet key, which we can open green cabinets with. And let's search in here, it reveals some bullets, 3 bullets. We'll definitely need to pick all of those up and use those a bit later on. Now we have the gun and the bullets, and we found another dead end. It's a yellow door, and so can we use the yellow pass in this case, to get through it. Well, no is the answer to that, so what I'm actually going to do is to use the gun, and if you use 2 bullets on any door, you can shoot your way through it. It's pretty difficult to line yourself up with the door and press fire, but having done so, you can select the gun and use. Having used it, hopefully we can now quit this convoluted system, get through that door. This opens up the stairwell and a bucket of water. Can we pick up the bucket of water? Yes we can, but only after searching that room, and there are plenty of buckets of water all around this huge hotel or whatever it may be. So let's carry on searching. This is already further than most people in most plays that I've seen on YouTube, because they didn't know that it took 2 bullets to shoot your way through that yellow door. And that's not obvious by any means, but let's search this computer room. We cannot use the computer, but it's just found a pink door key, and there are cabinet keys and door passes to be found, and that's a crowbar, and I've no idea what a crowbar does, but it could be handy in the game. So that's all of the top section found and searched, and it's also important to search all of the stairwells and also all of the lift rooms as well, just in case you find anything. And that's one thing that I forgot to do on this particular playthrough, so let's just speed that up again and let's see if we can access that door that we couldn't get through before. Need here is a cyan key, and you can shoot your way through any door if you have the bullets. And maybe I'm going to shoot my way through this one just to see what's on the other side, but you can't shoot through every door because you'll eventually run out of bullets. I like to face the door whilst I'm shooting, and if I'm not facing the door, then it's time to press that fire button and try to get out of there again. The first fire button will go all the way through our inventory, and pressing the fire button again will go through the commands. So now that we've shot 2 bullets into that, we find a cabinet, and do we have the cyan cabinet key, or we have a black door key? That's not going to work. We have a green cabinet key, that's not going to work either, and we also have a pink cabinet key, which doesn't work either. Searching the room reveals nothing, so it appears that shooting the bullets into this room was a bit of a waste of time. The 3 rooms which are on fire actually contain nothing, so there is only one more room to the left that we need to explore, and that's the last room on this level. Again, I forget to search the stairwell rooms. But in the last room it reveals the stairwell. That means we can get through onto the next section, and from here yet another blocked door. It's important to search everything, just like Impossible Mission, and at the end of all this you will get the items to break out of the game. There is a safe which we'll need to break into, and we'll also need to break out of the building. And the safe is in the very bottom left corner, and the break out of the building is in the very far right corner. So what we have to do is to get Stacy out, break into that safe, get the code, which we will need hopefully to deactivate the bomb in the next level, and then get out. You can see the time itself is ticking up, and 10:05, it's now 10:05 at night, and I think we have maybe an hour before the entire building burns down. And what we found, we've just found a Coke machine, or a soft drinks machine. It's very hard to read soft drinks written on there, but it is, and you'll need a coin to operate that to get a drink, and then we can use the drink on God knows whatever, because I've never actually completed this level. And so let's use the pink door key on the pink door, and it actually works, which is fantastic. But I think only one key opens one door, and so once you've used that key you might as well drop it, because I don't think the keys open multiple doors, and that will be very helpful, because it means if you find a door and you can't open it with a pink key or a pink pass, it means you'll have to shoot your way through it, and it's not obvious which doors you have to shoot through in the game. So I've walked back to the white door. Do we have enough bullets? Well, we only have enough bullets for one, and that's the white cabinet key, and we're not going to get there with the white cabinet key, unfortunately. We're not going to shoot through it with one bullet either, and I'm not even facing the right way to use the gun. So you can see it's a bit faffy at the moment, and I'm choosing to use the gun anyway, using that one bullet, but that's just a waste of time to reveal the two end rooms before they burn down. So I need to find another bullet, and if I search these stairwells, maybe I'll find it, maybe I won't. So let's head back now onto another section, and if you can't get through a door, you'll have to make your way back to the stairwells, and the lift in this case I've still not figured out how to use it, if it's in fact possible to use the lift at all. We've entered another room, and it's great to tick off those rooms. Every single room will contain the exact same items every time, so if you know where to find those items, you can head straight to the room, and the items in the rooms will not deviate, they will not be random, which is fantastic, and the keys will always open the same doors. You don't have to be standing next to a door, I don't think, to use that key, just like you can search a room without standing next to the items. You can see we found a plus on a barrel, that's actually the plus on the barrel, that's actually for the safe, and there's a plus and a minus barrel that we'll have to find in the game. We found the plus, but we'll need to find the minus before we get to the safe. And so at the moment we don't have anything, we don't even have any bullets for the gun, and these cabinet keys, well, this door key, the black one, I don't think that's going to do much, because that opened the yellow door. So before all the rooms in the building burn down, let's leg it all the way back to the stairwell, and if we pull to the right we can go down, and if we pull to the left we can go up in the stairwell. We can't go up because that room is on fire, so let's go down and let's check all the rooms on our way back. And we found another door, let's try to use that pink door key. Is that actually going to work? And no, it doesn't. So that requires the pink pass. We haven't got a pink pass, we have got a pink crowbar, and unfortunately that's not going to work. So this game, or rather this level, well, entirely this game, is very much trial and error. If you have the patience, you can trial every single combination of key in every single room and figure out what's going on. And even though I managed to open up these cabinets in the playthrough, in the warm-up, unfortunately I didn't manage to open a single cabinet in this entire playthrough. That's the pink door key, that is not the pink cabinet key, that's the black, or rather the yellow door key, and that's the green cabinet key. So we're not having the right keys for the right doors, and inside these cabinets there could be a great item. So let's skip forward, we cannot get into that cabinet. Let's explore some more rooms, and it's great that most of the rooms are unlocked, and we only require keys for the extreme doors in the centre and on the outskirts of the hotel. The ones in the middle will generally be unlocked. So continuing to pile up those items, and we've found a 10-cent coin. That is one thing that we'll need to put into the drinks machines, and I think there are at least 3 drinks machines on the level. We've managed to find the blue one, but we'll need to find the pink drinks machine to use the pink coin in it, and I'm not sure whether we'll find that in this playthrough. No, we found yet another blocked door. What have we got? Oh, we've got the yellow door pass. Does that actually work in this case? Does that actually work? Well, returning back we'll find no, it does not. And yet again, trying to get back, we cannot blow it up because I don't think we've got any of the bullets. We used those bullets earlier on. So what that probably means is we're going to have to backtrack all the way to the other side of the hotel, or maybe even use the stairwell on this side of the hotel, and or maybe even use the gun. So it looks like I did shoot my way through the door after all. So bullets are very handy in the game, and if you can find the bullets, then that gives you some hope that you can get somewhere, and you can get through any door if you have the right bullets. Fortunately there are precious few, so I reckon you can get through maybe 5 or 6 doors in the entire game, and again trial and error to find those. We've managed to find the cyan door pass, which might come in handy, and all of these items now are piling up in our inventory. We've got tons of them, and unfortunately we still cannot find the right key to get into any cabinet. So let's continue, and if we continue this way, hopefully we'll find the back steps, and that means we can climb all the way through this section of the hotel. And this section of the hotel doesn't burn down for hours, so we've got all the time in the world to explore it, collect all of the items. And this may seem an impossible mission, but by ticking off those rooms on the map at the bottom, at least we can search through all of these. And I think this is the pink cabinet, so we'll need the pink cabinet key, and we've only got the pink door key at the moment. In the background you can hear some music, and that music was created by Anthony Crowther, who is famous on the Commodore 64 and on the Amiga for creating some great games. Unfortunately he didn't create this one, it was a Grant Harrison job, and so in this one he created the music, both of the themes, the James Bond theme and the Duran Duran cover. I always wanted to know how to play this game and how to get forward with it, and I didn't realise you could shoot through the first yellow door at the top of the level. I think creating a play guide of this game was definitely necessary. It's one of those that I definitely wanted to learn all the way through from back in the day, and I can't even remember whether I had it. I think I had it on a compilation at some point. I never played it, just like Top Gun was on the hit crowd. I never played that either, and it's one of those that I wanted to get into just to see if it was any good, because it looked like it could be good, particularly the second level, and you can see the graphics are very primitive indeed. That was a tape that we've just picked up, and I don't know why we need a tape. And there is a typewriter as well that we can find later on, but it would be handy to find out what half these items do. And because I've no idea, I'm actually using the gun again to shoot my way through the door. In here, it's a necessary room. This contains the fire hose, and I think you need the fire bucket and the fire hose, and a bullet as well. Look at that, fantastic. But the fire hose is very heavy. I think you need the fire bucket and the fire hose to put out the fires, and if you just have the fire bucket like this, that won't work. And so let's just drop the fire bucket, and hopefully we have enough strength to carry all these keys and also the fire hose as well. And it's no great loss if we drop the fire bucket here, because there are fire buckets all the way through the game, and every central stairwell will have a fire bucket next to it, so that's no big loss. But it won't give you any indication that our inventory is full. It will just stop allowing items in there. And it's great that we've already explored most of the rooms now on this side of the hotel. There's just the bottom layer to go, and that means we just need the last few keys and opening the last few doors, and we're almost there. And so you'll probably be pleased to know that we're not going to get very much further on this particular playthrough of the second level. In fact, this is as far as I've ever got in this entire game. This inventory system is very unwieldy indeed. Pressing fire to access the inventory and then scrolling around is worse than many games on the C64 which relied on inventory systems. It is functional, but it does get on your nerves, and that's one of the worst things about this game. Checking out the next room, we find the Geiger counter. That's definitely needed for level 3, because on level 3 it will show us the way towards the bomb that we need to defuse. If you haven't picked up the Geiger counter on level 2, then you won't unfortunately have that available on level 3. And you may have noticed the typewriter in the hallway. Again, I've no idea where the typewriter goes, so I didn't bother picking it up, particularly because we've got this big heavy fire hose and we don't have enough strength. Seems we're carrying a million keys, a million passes, and a fire hose and a gun and a load of bullets as well. It's also a shame that we can't use the computers, and there's the typewriter. I've no idea what to use that for, and it's a pity that these keys and these doors don't have numbers on them, and then you could simply find the right key for the right door. Let's hightail it back out again and let's get to another section, and in this section you can see I'm still having to shoot my way through it. It's a green door and we don't appear to have that green key, and so well, we have lots of keys and the crowbar, and that crowbar looks like a matchstick. It would have been better to distinguish these items with words, and we have the pink door pass, but you know, trying to distinguish what those items are on the inventory isn't exactly Monkey Island. We can't just see what they are. So this game is a bit convoluted, so unless you know what all the items are, and what keys are what, and which doors are for which keys, then it's very difficult, and so you'll have to play it over and over and over for weeks and weeks in order to figure out what to do next. This game is actually a conversion of the ZX Spectrum version, and the Amstrad CPC version is a conversion of that, but this one is more like a port, and the CPC version is a lot easier, mainly because on this level it actually shows us where all the items are without us having to search for a thing. So the keys are all spread out all around the level, and all we have to do is to go around and pick them up on the CPC, and it's a doddle. But on this version the graphics are very primitive. They're a straight port from the ZX version, and they are blocky graphics to avoid colour clash. Look at that, we've found the pink drinks machine. Can we use the pink coin in the pink machine to get the pink drinks can? No is the item. No, as far as I know, no is the answer to that. But it was worth a try, and that's what I think it's supposed to do. But what on earth are you supposed to use the drinks can for? I have no idea. And all the rooms on this side, we've got through most of them. And we have the white door key and the white door pass. Not that either of those will probably do us any good. And the safe tumbler, in this case, isn't going to do us any good whatsoever. So let's leg it back and use the stairwells, and let's go to the bottom layer. And on the bottom layer, if we keep on heading to the left, in the next room it's the safe door, and the room after that it's the safe. But we don't have, well, we do have the white pass and the white key. None of those in fact open the door. So, to my mind, I think you have to shoot your way into this door, and then you can get into the safe room. And it's great that it does give us that opportunity, but we've already blown through too many doors already. So, heading towards the bottom of the level, you can see another cabinet. Searching here, there's just a fire bucket, and if you enter a room with a fire in it with just a fire bucket, this version of the game crashes and prints out the next password for the next level. So if you want to complete this level, all you have to do is to wander into a fire room and get killed, and then you can get the password to move on. But what if we got one more bullet? That might be handy if there were two of them. And green door, again the green door key doesn't work. And it's a case of pulling your hair out with lots of items that we don't need at this point. So this level is quite convoluted, and this is as far as I got with it. We haven't found both of the tumblers for the safe, we haven't found the right keys to open the cabinets, and I think this is the white cabinet, since all of the cabinets have a cyan cover. I think it's the casing that denotes the cabinet colour, and so you're looking for a white cabinet key, which I think we actually had, and we managed to get ourselves in a dead end. So let's fast forward our way around to the other side of the building, because we're not going to have any joy on this side whatsoever. You can see Bond is printed on the lower right side of the screen, no idea why he's there. And there is a temperature gauge which will rise the nearer you get to a fire, but as you see the fire's on the map anyway, there's no point relying on the temperature gauge. So the map, which is semi-critical, could have gone in the top right corner, and the inventory, which is paramount, could have gone on the bottom of the screen. And without the multi-mole icons, that stupid inventory would have been a heck of a lot easier. Don't you open that black door, because you're a fool if you dare. I can't open the black doors because I haven't got any black keys, any black passes, or any black anything. I've got a black gun but no black bullets. Along the bottom here I've managed to find another door, and on my playthroughs I can't open this door with the door key, the cabinet key, or the blue pass, and I can't open the cyan door either with any of those. So I think you have to shoot your way out into the exit, which is to the far right from here. Having done so, you can start the next level, and you're in a disused mine under Silicon Valley. The evil Max Zorin has planted a bomb, which you must defuse using the code numbers which you'll find. You'll also need to help Mayday, who is trapped somewhere in the mine, and she will help you get out of it. This is the third and the final level in the game, and you can mess it up just by falling down the first pit. It is possible to get out of here, but I've messed it up, so all you can really do is to load up the level again from scratch. Jumping involves pressing fire, and sometimes he doesn't even jump at all. Let's load up the level all over again, and third time lucky now, let's go through this and let's have a determined try. The first item that you'll pick up is a grappling hook, and again you need to select the item to pick it up. Now we've made it over the first chasm, it means we can more or less get through the level from here. We can also find some sticks of dynamite all the way around this level, and we can also find an elevator as well. And this level reminds me again of Impossible Mission, and we'll use that elevator a little bit later on. For now, let's carry on collecting that dynamite, and we can't use the dynamite until we've clicked on and collected the item on the very far right there, and that's a lighter. So we have to use the dynamite and the lighter to explode the dynamite, which we shall see later on. To the right here there is a big gap, and we cannot jump over that gap, so what we're going to do instead is to run back towards the elevator and use that to navigate the level. This level is split into two sections, the left and the right of the elevator, and so to start with, let's clear out the left side of the elevator, and all you need to do is to walk off these platforms and to jump off. That will reveal another vital item, that's a plank. And these drops of acid, I think you can get the helmet to avoid so much damage from these acid. Eventually you'll find the plank. We can now pick that up by examining that location, and now we can continue over to the left, and hopefully we'll find some more items. If you are very lucky and you fall off these items in the correct way and in the right order, you will land on these platforms. But if you are unlucky, you'll fall down. Luckily we can grab hold of ropes occasionally and climb up and down ropes, and I like to collect the dynamite at this point whenever I'm passing any, because as we shall see we'll need that a bit later. And we've found a number 6, and there are a few numbers 1 to 7 in the game, and on this level we'll have to collect all of those numbers in order to unlock the end of it. If you jump and land precisely, you can get on that platform and fall down here, and if you are very lucky you can avoid all of that section on the left side of the screen, which requires 2 sticks of dynamite to blow through that wall which you can see there on the right. We can then use a grappling hook to get out of that section. making this look easy is because I've played this 100 billion times and this has definitely been a trial and an error game. And the grappling hook is the most useful item because you can get out of situations, but you would think that you can get the grappling hook out here and climb up, but no you can't. The ledge is just too high. What you have to do is to jump, and if you hit the sweet spot pixel perfectly, you will be able to jump and climb up and ascend the level. Having done that, we can climb up, and this gives us access to a rope that we'll need, and in order to get to that rope we'll have to time our exit off this one to land on this platform. Again, let's collect that dynamite, and if we mess up the jump towards the rope we'll have to go around the level all over again. Luckily the rope is one of the easiest items to collect in the game, but you can see when I'm over spikes like this our time will rush down, and rushing to deploy the grappling hook when you're standing over spikes isn't particularly the most user-friendly thing to do, and it's pretty faffy at the best of times. Let's try again to fall off this rope, and this time let's jump over and let's collect the rope that we'll need for a bit later on. That rope is one of the vital items, and we'll go through the vital items towards the end. And now that we've collected the rope and both of the planks, it means we can now ascend this level. This is the dirt chute of the mine, and it doesn't move unfortunately, and if you press fire and you aren't moving you'll simply enter the inventory screen, which is very unhelpful. You have to be moving left and right and press fire at the same time in order to jump. And again, that's very faffy, but just like most Anthony Crowder games, it is possible given enough faffing around. Finally, now that we've made it to the central lift shaft, what we can do is call the lift from here, and that's a godsend because it means we've now cleared the entire left side of the map. That means all we need to do is clear out the right side of the map, and then we can get to the bomb, which is down a shaft to the far right, and to get to that shaft we'll need to bridge that gap. To bridge that gap we can use the planks, and on the Amstrad CPC version you can use both planks, and that allows Mayday to jump over onto the winch, which is over to the far right. But on the 64 version, no matter where I put both of these planks, it takes them from my inventory, but it doesn't unfortunately complete the bridge, and that means Mayday will not appear on the far right next to the winch. You can see the winch here, which looks more like a gallows, and the shaft below that is where the bomb is, but we haven't got the tools at the moment, so let's head on down and clear out the right side of the map. From here, if we fall down onto exactly the right spot, we can then go down this rope and access the next part. Let's collect the dynamite because we're definitely going to need it. And then if we fall down that gap in front of us, usually it's a dead end and it's pretty difficult, but if we fall down the gap we will find a number 7. That's the only way to get the number 7, and that's a vital number that we'll need to find. Unfortunately, if you don't have the dynamite you can't blow your way out of there, and because you can see 2 walls underneath us, it requires 2 sticks of dynamite. We can then choose the lighter, having placed 2 sticks of dynamite, and that will blow us out of that hole. By pulling down we can also check out the bottom underneath us. That's absolutely no use whatsoever because we cannot scan around the map from here, and so let's just nip up and get this number 4 before we try a very difficult manoeuvre in the game, that is ascending a flight of steps. Usually in most games ascending steps is a doddle, but of course this is a future kill we're talking about, and so you can't always get up steps very neatly and tidily in this game. That reveals another critical item. That's actually the conveyor handle. That looks like a Z, and that's definitely critical, as we shall see a bit later on. If we fall down here, there is a number 5 as well. That isn't an S or a snake or a belt, that's actually a number 5. And just like Impossible Mission, we'll have to collect the code numbers to complete the game at the end. This game plays a little bit like Impossible Mission, and you can see the winch handle there to the right is impossible, and I've only managed to get that winch handle by cheating, as we shall see later on. If you try to jump over there, you'll simply hit your head on the rock that you can see jutting out, and you cannot collect the winch handle by any means known to mankind. So let's just skip the winch handle from here. You can use a save state to save up at this point and try and cheat your way through it, and that's what I would recommend. But just in case you don't want to get the winch handle the cheating way, which we shall cover at the end of this review, let's continue down the mine. On the far right corner here you can find the winch hook, and so we found the winch rope already. This is the winch hook, and so we'll need to get the winch drum, which is what we put the winch rope around, and then we can put the winch drum and the winch rope around the winch and put the hook on it, but we still can't use it because we haven't got the winch handle. We still can't get the winch hook out of this corner because yet again it requires a pixel perfect jump to do so. If we manage to land on the corner, you would expect that you can use the winch to get us out of that spot, but unfortunately not, and that means that uncovers another bug in the game because we cannot get the grappling hook back unless we collect the grappling hook, and we'll have to jump out in order to collect the grappling hook. So if you leave the grappling hook lying around the level, that means you'll have to run back for it. And here is a miner's helmet, and I think this saves us taking damage. Whenever we collide with anything, we'll take damage, and that will wipe down the time a lot more. So let's just do that. Let's just fall down this chasm, and that reveals the number 1. And that number 1 is helpful, but if we continue to the far left, that will also reveal Mayday, and she is essential because she will then winch us out of the pit where the bomb is. And that's if we had the winch handle, which we don't have because it's impossible to get. And if I'm making this look easy, it's because I've completed this particular section a billion times, and this is the easiest way to get through it. But again, at the end of here, it means we'll have to stand on spikes, drop 2 sticks of dynamite to blow our way through here, and then use the lighter to blow that up. And actually I think you can just use 1 stick of dynamite in this case. Just in case you were in any doubt that this is a ZX conversion, that's Mayday converted pixel for pixel from the ZX, and that's as much as you will see of her. We can now use the grappling hook on the spot to connect to that rope and get out of the level, but again, if you've used the grappling hook and left that behind, it's pretty difficult. So what I'm going to do is to jump out of that area, and if we can pick up the grappling barrel as well, and again pressing fire directly on the edge is pretty difficult at the best of times. But if we can get the winch barrel, it means we've got now the winch rope, the winch hook and the winch barrel, and that just means we need the winch handle to complete that entire puzzle. Taking a quick look at the scores, your Commodore gave this 40%, the 1164 crew gave this 40%, Commodore user awarded it 60%, your computer gave it 60%, Zap gave it 36% in August 1985 and 19% in November 1992. That gives this game an average score of 4 out of 10. Having collected those 4 items, or at least 3 and a bit, we can now make our way towards the end of the level. We've rescued Mayday, and we've got all the numbers that we found in the entire mine. And unfortunately you cannot get out this way unless you use a trick in the game. The only way I've managed to find to get out of this entire area is to fall down here and jump across onto the conveyor. If you remember before, we picked up the Z conveyor belt key, and if we activate the grappling hook here, and then if we activate that Z conveyor belt key, and it's not automatically obvious that we can use that on the conveyor belt or what it is, but if we do use it correctly, that will automatically put us back to the inventory screen, and that's the way that we know that that's been activated. So let's activate that and click on use, and that will put us back to the inventory, and holding the joystick forwards means we can now collect that rope and climb out to safety. This is the lift shaft, so let's now call the lift and get out of this entire game to the end scenario with the winch. Played this level for weeks. This is as far as I've got with it, and I've watched all of the long plays and all the tips and every single thing that's on Lemon 64 concerning this game, and I still haven't got the tips to complete it. But now that we've managed to get the winch, we can now drop the items here. You can see the Geiger counter is at the top, so let's drop, of course, the winch hook that we managed to jump out of that pit. We can drop that here, and that will then disappear out of our inventory. We can also drop the winch barrel, and the winch barrel can now go onto the gallows. And now we can use the winch rope, and the winch rope will then wind its way around the barrel and lower itself into the chasm where the bomb is waiting to be defused. So let's just use the rope. Eventually you can see we've got tons of items in here, but now let's just use the rope and climb down. At this point we could ask Mayday to winch us down there if we had the winch handle, which we don't, and Mayday hasn't shown up, so we can't ask her anyway. But that will reveal the detonator. This is the last thing on the level, and unlike the CPC version, we cannot collect this and exit the level. All we can do is enter the code, and there is no sign of the code on the entire internet or in the manual or in any of the help materials that I could find. So I'm actually entering here is the Amstrad CPC code, which is actually not going to work, and if you enter that twice it does not stop the counter from ticking down. So I have no idea what the code is. Maybe if somebody does know the code, maybe you can send that in and write that down in the comments. If I did know the code right now, hopefully I could enter that into the bomb and then use the winch handle to winch that up out of here, and then according to the CPC we can then just return to the start of the level, activate the detonator and blow that up. But you can see blowing up sticks of dynamite doesn't work, and we can't collect the detonator either. So that means with 24 minutes remaining, all we can do is try to get that winch handle, which we're not going to do. The winch handle is very easy to find. We can simply fall down all of these, and the steps, if you remember, we could climb down that rope, but let's use the steps. We fell down here to get the number 5, which looked like an S, and then we fell down here, and that brings us to the winch handle. And how do you get the winch handle? Well, what I had to do is to cheat my way through the game, and I bugged the game out. And so the first thing you need to do to bug the game out is to get onto this platform, which isn't necessarily easy. The second thing is to bump your head on the corner here, and then if you can angle the joystick on the top right corner, press the fire button, he will then jump to the left, and hopefully he will jump left into that gap. But if you pull to the bottom right corner like I'm doing at the moment, he will jump to the bottom left, and that means you cannot get into that gap. If you bug the game out like this, you can go through any gap or any cave in the entire game, but you can see the time limit is ticking down at 300 miles an hour, and that means that when we reach the time limit, the bomb will explode and we will die with it. So even though we can get through any cave gap by bugging the game out, that's the only way that I've managed to get through that gap. This is me recording it just after I did that, and yes, it is possible to pick up the winch handle from here. You can see I collected that straight from the start, so I don't have any items in the inventory apart from number 4, a grappling hook. But you can see it is possible to get it if you bug your way through the game, but you can't jump in or out of this area, and it's pretty useless to say the least. So I can show you what I did to try to get that winch handle, and in order to get out of here you have to deploy the grappling hook at just the right spot, otherwise you can't get out, and here at just the right spot, otherwise you can't get out. And if you manage to do that, then you can ascend and get back to the same place that you were before. If you touch any of the scenery, you will go somersaulting all the way around the level, and that's pretty infuriating. Even though we might have had the miner's helmet, we can't even walk forward if we jump on the edge of a platform, and that's pretty infuriating as well. So this game is very buggy, and I've known myself disappearing into the landscape, and that's how I found out about the bug where you can hold down fire and tunnel straight through it. But you cannot simply jump off this ledge, you'll hit your head, and you cannot simply put a rope from here and climb up either, because you'll hit your head as well. So there's absolutely no way you can complete the game. But if you do manage to get the winch together and Mayday up there and the planks and everything else, then that means you can enter the numbers correctly and you can enter those final passcodes into the end of the game. And that was the ending sequence. I hope you saw that, because that's the ending sequence of the entire game. So let's just slow that down in slow motion. You can see James Bond and the girl in question are in the shower and they're having a polite conversation, but you can see someone's hand grabbing the gun and the gun fires a bullet into the screen. It's not James Bond's gun, so who fires the gun, I've no idea. But thank you for viewing another Playguide and review to A View to a Kill. Thank you.